Imagine a world where no one questions the ideas that shape society, where critical thinking and self-examination are foreign concepts, and where understanding the true nature of knowledge is considered a luxury rather than a necessity. Now, picture a man who, in the midst of this complacency, stood firm, asking questions that rattled the very foundations of conventional wisdom. Socrates, a figure who lived in ancient Athens, sparked a revolution in thought that continues to echo through the corridors of history. His method of inquiry, known as the Socratic method, created a new paradigm for learning, one that challenged the status quo and laid the groundwork for the entire trajectory of Western philosophy. Without Socrates, we might not have Plato, and without Plato, we might not have Aristotle, and the great intellectual tradition we know today might never have been born. In this essay, we will delve into the profound impact Socrates had on the development of Western philosophical thought and explore how his ideas have shaped the course of philosophy through Plato, Aristotle, and beyond. Welcome, fellow thinkers, to another episode of The Unfolding Journey. This channel is dedicated to exploring the ideas, philosophies, and stories that have shaped our understanding of the world. We take a deep dive into the minds of history's greatest thinkers, unpacking the layers of their philosophies and discovering how their ideas resonate in our lives today. As we continue this intellectual journey, we will explore how Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, laid the cornerstone for the intellectual frameworks that continue to influence modern thought. From his relentless questioning of morality to the shaping of political philosophy, Socrates' contributions are immense. So sit back, relax, and join us as we delve into the world of Socratic thought and trace its profound impact through Plato, Aristotle, and beyond. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the heart of the matter. Socrates, born around 470 BCE in Athens, remains one of the most influential figures in the history of philosophy, despite the fact that he left behind no written works. Everything we know about Socrates comes from the accounts of his disciples, notably Plato, Xenophon, and other contemporaries. Socrates was not the first philosopher to challenge traditional views, but he was undeniably the most transformative. His impact on Western thought lies in his method of inquiry, an approach to philosophy that emphasized dialogue, critical thinking, and the pursuit of knowledge through questioning. Before Socrates, philosophers like Heraclitus and Pythagoras sought to explain the nature of the universe and the principles of existence. However, Socrates shifted the focus from cosmology and metaphysics to ethics and epistemology, fundamentally changing the direction of philosophical inquiry. Rather than seeking to explain the natural world, Socrates sought to understand human life, ethics, and the nature of knowledge itself. At the core of Socratic philosophy was the Socratic method, a form of dialectical questioning designed to expose contradictions in one's beliefs and encourage deeper reflection. This method involved asking a series of probing questions, challenging assumptions, and guiding the interlocutor toward self-knowledge. Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," underscoring his belief that individuals must engage in constant self-reflection and seek to understand the true nature of virtue, justice, and knowledge. This emphasis on critical thinking and the pursuit of wisdom set Socrates apart from his predecessors and contemporaries. While pre-Socratic philosophers were preoccupied with the nature of the cosmos, Socrates believed that the highest form of knowledge was self-knowledge, the understanding of one's own ignorance and the pursuit of moral excellence. His refusal to claim absolute knowledge and his insistence on questioning everything set the stage for the philosophical investigations that would follow. Plato, the student who preserved Socrates' legacy. Socrates' influence is most notably preserved in the works of his student Plato. After Socrates' execution in 399 BCE, Plato dedicated much of his life to recording and expanding upon his teacher's ideas. Plato's dialogues, which feature Socrates as the central character, provide invaluable insights into Socratic thought and present his ideas in a philosophical context that would shape Western intellectual tradition. Plato's writings introduced many of the core ideas that would define the Western philosophical canon. One of the most significant contributions of Plato was his theory of the forms, which he used to explain the nature of reality. According to Plato, the material world is a mere shadow of a higher, immaterial reality, an eternal realm of perfect forms or ideas. For Plato, knowledge was not derived from the senses, which are fallible and deceptive, but from the intellect's ability to grasp these eternal, unchanging forms. In dialogues such as the Republic, Plato explores ideas of justice, political philosophy, and the nature of the ideal state. While Socrates' philosophical concerns were primarily ethical and epistemological, Plato expanded on these themes, creating a systematic framework for understanding the role of the philosopher in society. In the Republic, Plato, through Socratic dialogue, proposes the idea of a just society, governed by philosopher kings who possess wisdom and knowledge of the forms. This notion of philosopher rulers, guided by reason rather than mere power, profoundly influenced later political thought. While Socrates was more concerned with individual ethics and personal virtue, Plato's philosophy provided the metaphysical and epistemological underpinnings for these concerns, offering a vision of a world that transcended the material and embodied perfect, eternal truths. Thus, Socrates' focus on ethics and moral virtue was not only preserved by Plato, but also expanded into a broader metaphysical and political context, shaping the way Western philosophy would approach questions of reality, ethics, and governance for centuries to come. Aristotle, the bridge between Socratic thought and empirical science. The third major figure in the development of Western philosophy who was deeply influenced by Socratic ideas is Aristotle. Aristotle, a student of Plato, inherited many of Plato's ideas, but he also diverged significantly from his teacher's metaphysical views. While Plato emphasized the existence of transcendent forms, Aristotle was more concerned with the empirical world and sought to understand reality through observation and classification. For Aristotle, the pursuit of knowledge was grounded in the observation of the natural world. Unlike Plato, who saw the material world as an imperfect reflection of a higher, ideal reality, Aristotle believed that the physical world was real and that knowledge could be gained through direct experience and reason. Aristotle's emphasis on logic, categorization, and empirical observation marked a departure from the more abstract, idealist tendencies of Plato, but his work was nonetheless deeply informed by Socratic principles. Aristotle's influence on Western thought cannot be overstated. His contributions to ethics, politics, metaphysics, and logic have shaped the development of philosophy in profound ways. Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics builds upon Socratic ideas of virtue and the good life, exploring the concept of eudaimonia, human flourishing, and the role of rationality in achieving moral excellence. His notion of the golden mean, which posits that virtue lies between extremes, can be traced back to Socratic ideas of moderation and self-examination. In the realm of politics, Aristotle's Politics offers a systematic analysis of different forms of government and the role of the citizen in the political life of the state. While Plato had envisioned the ideal state ruled by philosopher kings, Aristotle took a more pragmatic approach, arguing for a mixed government that balanced the interests of different social classes. Like Plato, Aristotle believed that the best form of government was one that sought the common good, but his ideas were more grounded in practical considerations and empirical observation of existing political systems. Moreover, Aristotle's contributions to logic and metaphysics, particularly his development of syllogistic reasoning and his exploration of causality, have had a lasting impact on Western intellectual history. His emphasis on empirical evidence and logical reasoning, paired with Socratic methods of questioning, would influence the development of scientific thought throughout the Middle Ages and the Renaissance. While Plato and Aristotle are undoubtedly the two most influential philosophers in the Western tradition who were directly influenced by Socrates, his impact extends far beyond them. Socratic thought influenced countless other philosophers throughout history, from the Stoics in ancient Greece to the Renaissance thinkers, and even modern philosophers such as Immanuel Kant and Friedrich Nietzsche. The Stoics, such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, were heavily influenced by Socratic principles, particularly his focus on virtue, self-control, and rationality. Socrates' notion that one should seek to live in accordance with reason and virtue was foundational to Stoic philosophy, which emphasized living a life of moral integrity regardless of external circumstances. In the Renaissance, thinkers like Michel de Montaigne and Descartes were inspired by Socratic ideas of self-examination and the importance of questioning one's beliefs. Descartes, in particular, echoed Socrates' method of doubting everything to arrive at certain knowledge, most famously in his dictum, cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. Furthermore, modern existentialist thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Friedrich Nietzsche also owe much of their philosophical methodology to Socrates. Nietzsche, in particular, admired Socrates for his defiance of conventional values and his insistence on the importance of individual self-determination. Socrates' impact on Western philosophy cannot be overstated. His commitment to the pursuit of wisdom, his method of critical questioning, and his insistence on the moral responsibility of individuals to examine their own lives laid the foundation for the entire Western philosophical tradition. Through Plato and Aristotle, Socratic ideas were systematized and expanded upon, shaping the intellectual landscape of the ancient world and influencing thinkers for millennia. Today, Socrates' call to know thyself and his emphasis on the examined life continue to resonate, reminding us that philosophy is not just an academic exercise, but a way of living, a way of challenging ourselves to seek truth, wisdom, and virtue in our everyday lives. If you found this journey through Socrates' profound influence on Western philosophy enlightening, don't forget to subscribe to The Unfolding Journey for more deep dives into the minds of history's greatest thinkers. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with our latest episodes, where we continue to explore the ideas that have shaped our world and our understanding of it. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, and feel free to leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep unfolding your journey.